If you have already watched the first part of this series, then by now you must be aware of how index and match function works. So it's time to explore some complex scenarios using index and match function. But you need not worry. Although the scenarios are complex, but it's still easier than you must have thought. So coming up is part 2 of index and match function. Hi guys, welcome back to Tech Reflections. I am Vikram and today we will go more in detail of index and match function. We will start with using approximate match type for match function, followed by two examples of returning full row and full column by the index match combination. And finally, we will see how index function works with references. To get full advantage of this video, you need to have a basic understanding of index and match. And for that, I recommend you check out the first part of this video series. You can watch out that video by clicking on the I button at the top right of this video. Now let's deep dive into the advanced index and match function. Today, first scenario we will be looking into is how to use approximate match for index match function. So what we want to do here is we want to calculate the commission for all the sales that we see in column E. So for commission, we have a table here where we have marked like all the amounts up till where the commission amount is, commission percentage is given. So any amount equal to this or below this would be having that much commission. So any sales up to the amount 10,000 and below will have a 12%, say a 12% commission, and the same in the same way, if the sale is from 5,000 or below, then it would be 10%. Let's see how it is done. So we'll start with the first row here. We'll use the formula index, and now as we want to return the commission, so what we will do, we will use this column as our return column, and then we want to see which row out of this column needs to be selected. So for that, we will use a match function. And for the match function, the first argument it is looking for is the lookup value. So what we want to look up is this sales figure. And where we want to look up? We want to look up this in this column, column I. And now the next would be the match type. So here, as you can see, right now, the amounts that we see here are not exact. So they are different, like what we are searching for is $2,500, but we don't have any exact amount matching this. So what we will do, we'll use an approximate match. For approximate match, there are two options. There is value 1, which is less than, which means that there's the largest value that is less than equal to the lookup value. And then there is one option called greater than, that is for -1, which gives us the smallest value that is greater than or equal to the lookup value. So in our case, it would be -1 we would be using. And we'll just close the parenthesis for match, and then we'll close for index. And this is what we got. If you see, we got it as 0.08, which actually falls into the third row here, which is like 2,500 comes under this row because it is less than 3,000 and more than 1,000. So this we have got. We can just, but this is the commission percentage that we have got, although it shows as dollar because this column is formatted in a dollar format. So that's the reason you get it. But we want a amount here. What's the commission amount? So to get the amount, we just need to multiply this with the sales figure. So we'll go to this formula. We use this column E3 and we'll multiply with whatever we have got and press enter. So this is the dollar amount for the commission that we have got for this particular column. So we can just drag it down. Okay, so now you must be wondering why are we getting this hash NA. That's because right now the formula that we have used is actually having a relative reference, whereas we want to refer this column I4 to I8 and column J4 to J8. This should be fixed. So what we need to do, we'll just change this, and this the first part in the index where uh, we have given the range from where we will return the commission. We'll just fix it by pressing F4, and this we have fixed. And the same thing we will do it for the lookup array that we have given for the match, because these are the fixed areas. We want to use it for all, and we press enter. And now this time we will drag. It will give the value for all the rows. So that is how we will calculate the commission when we have a given table. Let's move to the next function now. So next scenario we would be looking is how to return a full row or a full column. So for that, let's move to the next tab. That's scenario 2. So the scenario 2 is we want to see how index and match function returns a full row. For that, the scenario we are taking here is we want to calculate a maximum sales by a salesman across all fruits. So let's see how it is done. We'll use index function, and this time we want to find the maximum sale across all fruits. So we'll select all this in our range, and we want to return our value within this range. Next would be row number. Now the row number would be decided on the basis of the salesman that we have selected. So in our case, it is Leo. So but we can change this. So we'll use match function to get the dynamic row number here. For match function, first is lookup value. So lookup value would be the salesman that we have selected, and then we want to search this salesman within the column B. And the match type would be exact match because we want this exact name to be matched. So now we close this parenthesis for both match and index, and let's see what it returns. So it returned error here. So let's see why this error is returned. So if you see right now we have given reference to the row, but haven't done anything about the column. So index function doesn't know what to do because right now it has the full two-way array, and it only has a row information and no column information. So to avoid that, we just have to give a space for column. So it knows now that the whole column needs to be returned. So when we give a comma and leave it blank, that means we are giving no value for column, and we want to return the full column. So when we click on this, enter, we get all these values for Leo. Let's say we check Leo is here, and we have this apple as 1270, then $735, then 984 and 498. So this is all the values they return. So this way index function is currently returning the full row depending upon the salesman we have selected. But what we want is we want the maximum sale by the salesman across fruits rather than the sales figure for all the fruits. So how can we do that? We'll again go back to our formula, and this time we will use the max function, and here in the max function, it expects you to enter numbers. So we already have a range which is returned by index and match function here. So we'll just close the parenthesis and we'll press enter, and we'll see that we are getting a value $1270, which is the highest sales by Leo. So let's try it for some other salesman. We'll change the name. Let's say we change it to William, and now we are getting the value as 1360. So let's see where is the William. So this is William. So we can see 1360 is the maximum sales by William. So this way our function is working fine here. Next we will see how index and match function can return a full column. This time we saw row, and now we are trying to return a full column. So let's see how that is done. So the scenario we would be looking for is that we want to see a max sales for a fruit across all salesmen. So let's say in this case, we want to see the maximum sale for oranges. So let's use this formula, index match. For index, again, the range would be same. We want our value to be written from this range. And this time, row number, we will skip this row number as we did for column earlier, because we want to return the full column this time. So we'll just use a comma for it, and now we move to the column. In the column part, what we'll do, we want to search this value oranges. So let's see how that is done. To match function, our lookup value is orange. We'll use comma here, then the lookup array. So where we want to search this oranges. So orange would be searched in this top row, that is row number 2. So this is our lookup array. And again, we want to have this exact match. So we'll use 0. And we close the parenthesis, then we close the parenthesis for index also. Let's see what now it returns. We press enter, and now you can see that right now our function is returning all the values in the column under oranges. So you can verify that it's 980, 700, 560. So all these values are shown here. But again, we want the maximum sales for that fruit across all salesmen. So we'll just add max function to our already index and match combination function. So this we have added as max, and now when we press enter, we get a figure called 2200. Let's see if this is the highest sales for oranges. So in this column, if you see, the highest sale is this one. So this is correct. Let me change it for some other fruit to see if our function is working for all. Let's see, we try for pear. Now it will be searching for in this column, and the maximum sale for pear is 1600. So our function is working fine. Coming up in this video is index match function using multiple lookup tables. If you're finding this video useful, then like the video and share it with your friends. Also, subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon so that you get notified when the next video will be published. We need to move to the next tab. So this is our scenario 4. So again, here we will be calculating the commission, but as we did in the first example of this video, the commission was earlier on the basis of a single table. So on the basis of the sales and the commission percentage, we were calculating the commission. But in this example, if you see, we have this commission table is little longer, and now the commission is getting calculated on the basis of the category. So the item category. So if you see, there is a field, there is a column for category. So all these stationery items are categorized into one of the categories. So we have 4 categories: office, notepad, school, and stylus. So on the basis of this, there are different commission percentages. So for this, we would be using another type of index function, which we have not used till now. So let's do that. So here, this index function would be considering multiple tables. So let's see how that is done. So for that, if you see, there is another kind of formula for index. Earlier for all our examples, we have used this top one. So now for this example, we would be using this second one. So first argument it is expecting is a reference, and when we say reference, it actually asks for the tables from where it wants to pick up the data. So for us, there are total 4 tables. Let's see how that is added. So we'll increase another, we'll put another parenthesis, and this is the first table we have, but we want to fix it, block it, because that's the same table we would be referencing for all the rows here. So we'll just use F4 to fix it, plus comma, then we'll use the second table. This is our second table. We'll fix this also. Then we'll use comma, and then we have third table. We'll fix this one also with F4. Then we'll move to the fourth one. This is our fourth table, and we'll fix it again with the F4. Now we'll close this. So, and press comma. So this is the first argument, that's the reference. Now index function is asking about row number. So for row number, we will use the match formula as we were doing in our earlier examples also. So what will match function do here? It will return a row number from which this commission percentage needs to be picked up. So that would be on the basis of the sales amount. So what we are looking here is that the lookup value for match function is the sales, that is the $1,500. And then we use the lookup array. The lookup array would be this part. So that's where the percentages are given. So that's where the amount is given on the basis of which the commission will be calculated. And now the last argument for match would be the match type. But as we can see, these percentages are not the exact match. So this time, what we are trying to find is the sales above this amount. So we will use the another approximate value that would be less than. In the first example, we did it with the greater than. Now we are using the less than. So we'll use this. Its value is 1, and when we close it. Okay, so this is the row number. Now press comma, move to the column. We don't need a column argument here, so we'll just skip that, another comma. And now the last part, this is the area number. So what index is expecting us to give here is that the references that we have given earlier, that in the first argument, from which of these table needs to be selected for the to return a value. So how we will calculate that? Now we have O table, and we need to know which table needs to be kept here. So for that, we will use another match function. This one, this function, this whole function is a little complicated. So I want all of you to be very careful while using this. So how match function is going to help us here? So this is on the basis of the category. So what we are looking for is the category. So for this particular row, the category is office. So we are selecting this value, and where we will look up this value, we'll look up in this header of our commission table. Then we'll go with the match type. Match type in this case would be exact. So we will use 0. We'll close this. And this is the match function for the area. This will return us the area number, and that will close the parenthesis for index also. But before pressing enter, we need to understand that both these match functions have this range which we have not fixed. So this is currently returning a relative reference. So when we'll drag this formula for the rest of the columns, it may not work, as we have seen in the earlier examples also. So we'll just fix it. So this is the range we use for the first match function. We'll just press F4 and we'll fix this. And this is again for the second match function also, we'll use F4 to fix this. And then we press enter. So it is returning 0.05. So if we see for office category, the sales is 1500. So if you see in our table, 1500 comes into the second row. And then for office, it is 5%, which is 0.05. Dollar is again because of the format of this column. So let's ignore it here. Now, what it is returning is only the percentage, but we want this actual commission amount. So for that, we'll just multiply this with the actual sales and we'll press enter. So this is $75 is the actual commission amount we will get for this particular sales. And now we can drag it for the rest of the rows, and it will return the commission amount for all these rows. With these examples, I hope you must have a good idea about the flexibility and ease of use with index match. There is a lot more you can do with this function, but this is all that was planned for this 2-video series. Drop a comment and tell me if there is any other scenario you want me to cover on this topic. And if required, I'll come up with the third part of this video. Before jumping over to the next video, consider subscribing to the channel so that you keep getting this kind of content. If you want to learn more about lookup functions, then link for those videos will be on your screen now. I'll see you all in the next video. Till then, stay safe and stay healthy. Goodbye.